In today's space news, SpaceX is still waiting to hear from the FAA on whether they can fly Falcon 9 flights while they wait for the results of the mishap investigation, my favorite name for an FAA investigation, after the loss of Starlink 9-3. In case you didn't hear, during that particular launch, a severe LOX leak occurred in the upper stage during the circularization burn, leaving the Starlink satellites in a highly elliptical orbit with a 135-kilometer perigee. According to SpaceX, that's less than half of the required perigee altitude. At any rate, SpaceX can't launch Falcon again until the FAA says that it doesn't pose a public safety risk. They have 3 more flights scheduled for this month. Not to mention the private Polaris Dawn flight to be commanded by billionaire Jared Isaacman. Polaris Dawn has been delayed 5 times already. Speaking of SpaceX, Elon Musk is considering/threatening to move the SpaceX headquarters to Texas over a newly passed California law that prevents schools from outing transgender students to their parents. No word on the practical aspects of moving an entire space program to another state for the most douchey/showboaty reasons possible, but I'll keep you updated. In other news, Boeing Starliner astronaut Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams are still stranded on the ISS. Sorry, not stranded, according to NASA press releases, just remaining on the ISS indefinitely. Allegedly. For those of you keeping score, this is now day 15 of a 10-day mission. Helium leaks in the thruster system are just the latest in a slew of problems that have haunted the program since it began in 2010. At the moment, according to the Associated Press, engineers are disassembling a thruster that was test-fired in New Mexico, intended to emulate the condition of the thrusters from launch to docking, and then from undocking to descent. Boeing and NASA will analyze the data they've collected and go from there. NASA insists that the crew can leave at any time, if necessary. Wilmore and Williams insist that they are confident in the spacecraft. Tomorrow, Rocket Lab is due to launch an Electron rocket carrying the Acadia 3 satellite. Acadia is a synthetic aperture radar imaging satellite by Capella Space. Rocket Lab's press release is calling the launch a sky full of stars. Not the best naming decision ever. Anyway, the launch is set for July 20th at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time from Launch Complex 1 in New Zealand. And lastly, NASA is scrapping the VIPER lunar rover because of cost concerns. According to NASA, VIPER, the volatiles investigating polar exploration rover, was canceled after an internal review. A VIPER, which was supposed to search for water and ice on the moon, suffered cost overruns and repeated delays, and NASA just wants to sell the existing rover as it currently exists. But if it doesn't sell, engineers plan to disassemble the rover and reuse the components and sensors in other projects. Nicola Fox, Associate Administrator of NASA's Science Mission Directorate in Washington, said, "The agency has an array of missions planned to look for ice and other resources on the moon over the next 5 years," end quote. So it looks like maybe VIPER was redundant, particularly with their upcoming Polar Resources Ice Mining Experiment, or Prime 1, due to land in late 2024. If you're looking to get your hands on a $450 million lunar rover, email hq-clps-payload@mail.nasa.gov. They plan on selling by spring 2025.